Hey, good morning, guys. Sorry for the sunglasses. My eyes are not ready for the sun right now. So I wanted to go over some stuff today about water trailers fighting fires. This is probably going to be a little boring, but just stick with it. It's got some information in there about water trailers, water pumps, especially from Harbor Freight. Just the average Joe kind of stuff, not an actual firefighter. So here we go. Last year here in Sacramento, California, we've been having a ton of fires. Just in my area alone, I've had about 4 fires. So I ended up buying this trailer and I paid $3,500 for it. The pump that's on it now is a 2-inch. It came with it. I did a couple upgrades to it. I added this system here so I could have water on both sides. So I can just turn this valve on, have this water come on for the 2-inch or for the 1.5 inch or the inch. This is a 1-inch hose. This 1-inch hose is not something I would recommend for any kind of structure fire like a shed or anything like that. The pump just doesn't pump out enough pressure and volume for that. It's good for maybe a small grass fire, but yeah, anything other than that, it's not good for. All right, so one thing about these Harbor Freight pumps, or any kind of pump that's going to have water in it, don't leave water in them. So if you have an off valve from your tank, turn it off. So this is the off valve to the pump from the tank. Turn it off, because if water just sits in this pump, it's going to rust out the seal and the shaft that's in here. And I've already had that happen. This pump is the original pump that came with this. I put a 3-inch pump on it and I ruined that seal. So I had to put this pump back on it. I still need to put the new seal into the 3-inch pump, but I'll have to do that another time. So always keep the water valve off from the tank to the pump, and then always drain the pump itself here. Just undo that, undo this, let all the water come out of it, let it drain for a day. Just let it dry, and then put that back in. Also, if you're gonna leave gas in it because you want to be ready, it's better to drain the carburetor. And right here, see there's a hole in the carburetor float bowl here. Just drain it, let the gas come out of it, and then put that plug back in. See, I forgot to put it back in, but luckily it's right here. If you leave the gas in there, it's gonna gum up the carburetor, and when you go to use this pump, it's not gonna work. Also, I put a light on the top of here so I can see what I'm doing at night. And then there's a battery to charge it from the vehicle itself. Let's go over hoses and fittings. All right, here's all the stuff that I have. I've never had to really use any of it except for these 2 items here in the hose. But I've got different hoses in here for different, pressures. I've got different fittings here that really don't matter. I just bought them anyways. These are the ones you usually want because they go onto fire hydrants. This one's missing the seal, but I could always just take it out of that one. Different hoses, hose fittings, guns. This is actually from a firefighting store. It's like $500 here. But you can take this off and put on one of these ones. It just shoots a little further. These are used to open up fire hydrants, which I think is illegal unless you get some sort of permit. But nobody knows. Fire hoses, these are 2-inch. These are from Harbor Freight. They do work. Keep them out of the sun, because if you don't, you'll kill it. These are all from Fire Penny, I'm pretty sure. These are all fire rated hoses. This is for like forestry, and these are just basic fire hoses. I think these are 75 feet or 100, or this one's 75 feet. I can't remember, but it's good to have at least a couple 100 feet of hose. Just because if you have to go around a house and you can't get to it by close with the trailer, it's nice to have a lot of hose. And then let's go over this 3-inch pump here. I'll go over the pump here close, and then we'll go to the parts that have ruined. See the shaft here? See, it's a little bit of rust there. It's because I left water inside the actual pump. So don't keep water inside the pump. There's a seal. It's right here. Brand new seal. You can get it from Harbor Freight, but it's just, see that little part there? That's shiny. It just slips right over the shaft, but it rusted on the shaft. And these are the pump parts. So this is the pump that actually pumps the water. And see, this just goes onto the shaft, and if water just sits in the pump, it's gonna rust that shaft. So you gotta keep water out of it. See, everything's rusted steel because water just sits in there. See, it's gonna get rusty either way, but the seal, as long as you keep water off of it, it should last. Just remember to drain your pump. So my big thing was, I'm gonna buy a water trailer. I'm gonna be able to put out fires around my neighborhood. And you know, there's the fire stations are around here. There's 2 of them. They're not super close, but I figured I'm gonna be here most of the time working on my stuff. If I see a little bit of smoke, I could just run over there real quick. So I did that, and I embarrassed myself the first time. I went over down the street. There was a structure fire. There was a shed on fire because I could see the black smoke, and I was like, oh sweet, here's my chance to go put this fire out. I don't hear fire trucks, I don't hear anything. So I went over there, and I had only the 1-inch hose, and it didn't work. It wasn't good enough. It was embarrassing because I didn't have the right equipment. And I showed up with this water trailer, and the fire department were not there for like 3 minutes or more. So I was just kind of like trying to put it out, but it didn't work. So if I had had the 2-inch hose or the 1.5-inch hose, it'd have been fine. I could have put the fire out. But since I didn't know the people, I didn't know what was in that shed. So that was also the dangerous thing, because I just went in a normal shirt, pants. I wasn't dressed up like a firefighter. I didn't have a hat or any safety equipment on there. So there were some propane tanks that actually exploded on the job or on that fire. And, you know, you just never know what's in somebody's shed. So if you're gonna go run around trying to, you know, be a hero, just remember, you're not a firefighter. You can blow up. They can blow up too, but they've got more protective gear on there, you know, and they're not running in there with shirts and pants on like I was. But I wasn't gonna run into the shed. I was gonna stay at distance. The fire hose with the 2-inch, it will shoot about 50 feet, maybe 60 feet, if that. But just remember, it's very unpredictable of a fire. You never know what's in there. There was a camping trailer behind the trailer, or behind the shed, so I knew there's gonna be propane tanks there, and there were. I watched 3 of them blow up, but it might show it in the video. But if you're just gonna do grass fires and stuff, you know, those hoses are fine, you know, or to protect your own house, that's fine. But don't go trying to be a hero, for sure. It was too much for that. Too much fire, too hot. The pressure on their hose is so much more than mine. Shit's exploding in there. tank that went off. There's a couple more on the other side of the trailer, and then there's one there. I didn't know the fire marshal carries a gun.